Joining us for the next half hour, Attorney General of New Mexico is visiting, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about his career as AG, and we'll take it from there. Welcome to the show. I appreciate you coming on a short notice there. I know I was trying to get you in the show.
Thanks.
there.
No, but it's
I
great
really
to have the
appreciate
opportunity to
absolutely.
to
I
talk
know
a
you're
little bit.
I know that you guys are really busy. I didn't realize how much the AG's office actually does till I started to research before you were coming in. The various departments that you all have and how large it is.
Yes. You know, I'm very proud of the work that my lawyers do. We have essentially the largest law firm in the state of New Mexico, but it's because we do so many things. We have a consumer division that helps consumers. We have 3 different prosecutions division that prosecute different kinds of issues. We have a Medicaid fraud group that tries to interdict that kind of fraud. We have civil divisions that represent a lot of the boards and commissions and a lot of the agencies in the state of New Mexico. We have a utilities and environment and water group that deals with those issues, and then all the support staff that it takes to do those. So we're a very active group.
How many attorneys do you have at the AG's office? I know there's a lot, like close to 100, right?
Generally about 80 attorneys, yeah. So I think that the 2nd District Attorney's Office sometimes has maybe 90 or so. So we're the 2 that vie to be the largest group of attorneys. But of course the 2nd District Attorney's Office is all prosecutions, and we have civil and criminal jurisdiction in the AG's office.
I know there's some cities that have like 900, like New York.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I know that's a lot of attorneys there. But then I think you need that with the bigger the state, the bigger the population.
Yes.
I think there's so much that you all have to deal with. I think the latest thing you were on America's Most Wanted. Just recently, you were featured on there, I think.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that. I know it had to do with human trafficking, I think, wasn't it?
Yes. When I became the Attorney General, New Mexico was the only state, certainly on the border, that did not have a state human trafficking law. So one of the first things that we did in our office was worked with the legislature to enact a state human trafficking law that makes trafficking, human slavery, a felony in New Mexico. And so we have a number of cases that we're doing, but last year there were a couple of defendants that we had indicted who skipped the state. And so America's Most Wanted came and did a whole segment on our human trafficking efforts in New Mexico and highlighted these 2 cases where we had
we don't have a problem, though, a huge problem in New Mexico, though. It's not to a point where it's out of control, right, as far as human trafficking?
You know, I don't think it's out of control, but human trafficking is the hidden crime in a lot of cases, and people, and even myself, I think I thought about you know, bringing young women from Asia or Eastern Europe or something like that and forcing them into commercial sex. And it turns out that a lot of the human trafficking in New Mexico, and I think around the country, really is more young people that might be enticed here from somewhere else. The cases that were on America's Most Wanted, one of them was a young woman who lived in North Carolina who got enticed here to New Mexico by a fellow on the internet, and then he held her against her will in a closet and advertised her on the internet for commercial sex.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing this.
So I think that problem, the problem of preying on 1 or 2 young people, if they're a child in New Mexico, it's a first-degree felony. But you know, if a lot of the people that we're seeing that are enticed into this are maybe just over the age of 18, but they're still young people that are that get sucked into this business in a way, and I think they might be enticed by, we'll give you a job, or I'll be your boyfriend. I mean, there are all these different things that they use to bring them in. Yeah. But at its base, human trafficking is holding someone against their will, and either forcing them into labor or commercial sex. And so,
did you have a task force specifically for that, or was it just a general AG
Yes.
response?
No, I actually have a group that's called the Border Violence Unit that existed prior to the passage of the Human Trafficking Act, who primarily worked with our counterparts in Mexico to do several things. We do extraditions and what are called Article 4 prosecutions in Mexico. So we had always been working with our Mexican counterparts to deal with cross-border crime, and so it really lent itself to dealing with this issue of human trafficking, which certainly can be international. And so I worked with the Attorney General in Chihuahua on several issues: the transfer of contraband guns, transfer of drugs, and transfer of human beings. And so we have a whole group that works together to try and deal with those cross-border crime issues, and that started our human trafficking initiative.
So is there a lot of cross-border problems with human trafficking, or is it interstate?
You know, it's both. Certainly, we think that there are people that are being brought in from other countries, and in some of those cases, we also have a very active and good group with the Department of Justice, with the U.S. Attorney's Office. And so, in cases where there's international trafficking, quite often we'll work with the U.S. Attorney's Office, and they do those cases.
The U.S. Customs, I think, gets involved in all that, right? Or
yes.
Immigration?
Well, and in all of the cases where we have an international victim, we need help from the federal government, because you have to get them a visa where they can stay here. There's a certain kind of visa that they have for trafficking victims, either a T visa or a U visa. So we work in close order with the U.S. Attorney's Office and with ICE and with all those agencies.
Gotcha. We're going to come back and take a short break. We'll be right back. Be back in 5 minutes, 5 seconds.